everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest, once again, Dan. And today we're going to be talking about how to date a feminist, or feminist dating tips. I think it's pretty obvious by now that everyone knows I'm very passionate about feminism, and I have a boyfriend. Sometimes people can see these two things as mutually exclusive because I'm a feminist and I hate men. So today I'm going to be interviewing Dan, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to date a feminist, and Dan might give some tips to his fellow men on how to deal with that.
Alright, I'll do my best.
First of all, first question, Dan, is what do you think is the hardest part about dating a passionate feminist?
You have to be constantly vigilant whenever you're in public with the radio on, or you're in the car with the radio on. You know that song by Robin Thicke? I don't even know what it's called.
It's called Blurred Lines.
Okay, the song called Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. If that song is ever within earshot of your feminist girlfriend, I mean, be prepared. Be prepared.
Finger on the dial, ready to switch.
At all times.
I honestly am so shocked that 96.7 is still playing that song. First of all, it's old. Second of all, it's shit.
Like, it could be that. You just have to be constantly prepared. Like, someone will say something,
and I'll freak out. I'll fly off the handle.
So it'll be anything, and then it's
it's over.
It's over. So you'll be like in the mall or something. Someone will say something heteronormative, and then it's just be prepared.
I appreciate that you even know that term.
Well, yeah.
Good job. One time I saw a girl tweet, anybody who thinks heteronormative is a real word needs to step off, like unfollow me right now. And I was like, no problem.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's in dictionaries.
It's a real word and it's a real thing, so stop being a jackass.
Yeah, there you go. Words to live by.
What's your favorite part about dating a feminist?
Good question. There's a lot of good parts to it. I mean, I appreciate the discussions we have, and learning through, like, by talking to each other.
Yeah. Something new that you've learned maybe about, equality, gender equality in particular, from dating me.
Like, maybe I got a better sense of how feminism and racism and stuff can all work together, and how some people's lives are really affected by that kind of stuff. And it's not just an issue for other people in other places. It's an issue here in in the places where we live.
Yeah. I remember a time when we were talking, and I was talking about like racism and how it's like still a very prevalent issue, and you were like, oh well, I've never seen it happen. Like, that you've just never experienced that because of like the place that you've lived and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
it's just like not something I see very often.
Yeah, and the important thing is, like, for us especially, like, just because we don't see it happening doesn't mean that it's not. I mean, like, we're white. That's the whole thing. Is like, we can ignore racism if we want to, but once you're like enlightened to it, then you see it happening all over the place. Like, the whole point of privilege is that you don't have to think about it. Now we move to the part of the video where I talk about what it's like to date a feminist. Ooh, plot twist!
What is that?
Plot twist! Yes, obviously Dan is very invested in gender issues and would probably call himself a feminist, is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, something that I want to bring up first of all is a lot of people, girls that I've talked to will be dating a guy and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy because he's so kind and sensitive and he actually cares about respecting women. And I'm like, do you take that as some sort of like bonus feature or cherry on top? Because that's a damn requirement. That's kind of how I feel about dating somebody that's invested in gender issues and other sorts of social issues. Is it's like, okay, well, how could I date somebody who isn't? Like, I would just be constantly angry, and I'm sure you can... You
would be very angry.
Yes. Yeah, that, first of all, it's something that's very important to me, so I would want to date somebody it's also important to them. Second of all, it's been really nice to sort of have somebody open-minded and, open to actually hearing about feminism. In particular, some guys will be sort of adverse to it at the beginning.
Oftentimes, feminists are like, oh, men are like this in society or whatever, and your immediate reaction is like, well, I'm not like that. It's not how I am. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize that it's not really a judgment on you. It's the wider society. So I mean, it's important to think am I contributing to this problem? But ultimately, you have to realize that, not to think about yourself all the time. That the problem is a lot bigger than that.
A good statement to live by, not to think about yourself all the time. Because I think that's like a big, like, people take it as such a personal insult, and it's like important that you realize that it's not just about you, it's about a societal issue.
If there was a problem, if there was something I was doing wrong, you would tell me. You wouldn't I feel like you wouldn't sugarcoat it.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Like, if someone is trying to say that there's a problem with something you do, then they will tell you it in that context instead of being like, oh,
men do this. Tell girls that they like them better without makeup.
Yeah, or whatever. It's not that you're saying that to me, but you're not talking about me. You're talking about,
a general issue.
A general issue that that men have caused. They're predominantly male issue.
So I think that's all for this video. If you have any questions about dating a feminist or how feminism can manifest in relationships, leave them in the comments. Or if you have your own stories about what it's like to date a feminist, also let us know in the comments.
Video ideas for Katie or for both of us, yeah.
Also tell us.
So make sure to like and subscribe.
And I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm not a feminist. I just believe in equal rights, is something I said about a year ago. Little did I know, that is feminist. A couple of years ago, I used to make a podcast called the Man Time Podcast, ironically named. This isn't the best way to start a conversation about feminism. I used to make a podcast exclusively for men, but we did used to make jokes about feminism and stuff like that. And I used to have the opinion, bloody feminists, and things like that. These are the things I used to say. And it doesn't feel like it's me anymore. And if you were offended by the way I used to be, I apologise. Now I do identify as a feminist. And what feminism means to me is that men and women should be equal and be able to have the same opportunities and do the same things as the other one. It shouldn't depend on gender, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Which to me seems bloody obvious. Like, why has someone made a rule that isn't the case? I think that, how your granddad is like a bit racist, and it's like, oh, granddad, you can't say that anymore. That is going to be our generation, but with sexism and hopefully homophobia as well. So when we get old, we'll be the last generation that says sexist and homophobic things, and our grandchildren will be like, why was this ever allowed? It won't seem normal, which to me, and I'm sure a majority of people, it doesn't seem normal to think and feel these things. Why I need feminism? Look at this, look, okay? Before I talk about this, here's a disclaimer. I didn't buy this. This was a gift. And it's a bit of a rubbish gift anyway, so whoever got it for me, I mean, I use it a lot, but look at this. It's a car, red, lovely, sports car. Inside it, grooming products. You got your nail scissors, nail clippers, tweezers, and a nail file.
You've got tweezers?
Yeah, I've got tweezers, yeah.
Can I borrow them?
Yeah, do you want some tweezers?
Yeah. Thanks.
It's a bit gay though, isn't it? But it's disguised in this car.
Oh no, I'm absolutely feeling very, very positive and reinforced in my masculinity about using these beauty products.
Thank you.
Bye.
I groom myself. I'm not embarrassed about saying, you don't look like this by accident. I thought about this the other day. I've had this for ages, and I thought, why is it in this car? Like, think about that. Obviously, I'm focusing on what I experienced personally, but that's not on, is it? On Tumblr, I've spoken about this sort of thing before, about how I see myself as a feminist. But I got told that I can't be a feminist because it's a movement for women by women. And I think that's quite a backwards way of thinking. I'm happy to be told I'm wrong. I'm always happy to be told that my viewpoint is misconstrued. I'm always happy to put my hands up and say sorry. They called me a feminist ally, which I think is just, you're just segregating people. Why are you doing that? Emma Watson recently made a speech, Hermione off of Harry Potter. She made a speech about feminism, and I agreed with pretty much all of it, except she said that the word shouldn't be important, it's what it stands for and what you do. I agree, but I also don't. Because people, men and women, shouldn't be scared of identifying themselves with female, the femme bit at the beginning. It means that you aren't afraid of using female connotations towards yourself, especially for men, because I know that some people, they want to, lads, that's how they want to be seen. But if you can identify yourself as feminine, I think it shows that things are progressing more, because we aren't scared of separating each other. I think it's also easy to get confused between being a feminist and a straight white male.